The Washington Wizards. They have been a team that's looking disappointing to say the least. Before the season started, many people made predictions that the Washington Wizards would make the playoffs, and I was one of these people. They were led by Russell Westbrook, and he hasn't missed the playoffs since his rookie season. Bradley Beal is one of the league's best scorers and can give you 30 points a night. They have young talent and a solid duo, but have failed to live up to expectations. If the season were to stop now, they wouldn't make the playoffs. They also wouldn't make the play-in tournament. Matter of fact, they aren't even close to the play-in tournament because they have the second worst record in the East. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button to get quality NBA content, and best of all, to join this amazing basketball family. I recently did a rebrand to this channel, and I was strictly NBA, and if you recognize that name, this is the channel, and all the content's just gonna be the same, but now the channel is in my name. Now, some teams have had a rough start to the season. That's normal, and they usually get back on track. But it's over a month since the NBA started, and the Wizards still hasn't figured it out yet. Has this been a big enough sample size to judge their season? I don't want to be that guy, but I find myself doubting this team more and more as the season goes on, and I'm losing confidence in them. Before the season started, I had the Wizards making the playoffs, because last year they were the 9th seed, and they had roster improvements. John Wall didn't play at all, so Russell Westbrook was added to this team without giving up anyone that got playing time last year. They got Deni Avdija in the draft, and many people thought he would be a top 5 pick in the draft. They have young players that would develop too. This team was looking really good coming into the season, but they haven't been close to the team we were expecting. And I know everyone is saying that the defense is the main issue, and that's because it is. It's so clear, and that's why everyone's saying it. And so, you've probably heard this before, and I'm not going to talk about their defense for too long. But last year, the Washington Wizards had a defensive rating of 116. To put that into perspective, that's dead last in the league. They give up 119 points a game, and in that category, they finished second last in the league. While their offense was around league average, their defense was atrocious. Last offseason, the Wizards didn't make any major moves to help out on the defensive end. They got Robin Lopez, but he isn't anything special. Like, he's decent on offense, but he's a backup center that only plays 17 minutes a game and doesn't have a big impact. They also got Deni Avdija in the draft, but that was for his offensive capabilities. Deni is by no means a bad defender, but he definitely isn't a game changer at all. They don't have any great defenders on this team, and they let the other team score literally 120 points every night. When I say defense wins championships, I mean that. Defense is a very important thing every team needs to have. The Washington Wizards aren't competing for a championship this year, but every team needs defense. And I feel bad for Bradley Beal. Like, he's been playing great. He's been leading the league in points and has played awesome this year. He has been putting up 35 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists a game on 49, 37, 87 shooting splits. He's been playing great for the team, but the team isn't really helping him out. He put up 60 points one game, and then they lost. And in the next night, he put up 41 points, and then they lost. Beal has been playing his heart out, and I just can't help but feel bad for him. I'm not going to say, free Bradley Beal, because loyalty in the NBA is slowly dying out, but you just can't be mad if he requests a trade. If he wants to stay in Washington, stay loyal, and keep trying to make this team competitive, I have so much respect for Beal. As much as I'd like to see him on a contending team, I would have nothing but respect for him if he stays. But if he asks for a trade and leaves, I just can't be mad at him at all. He has been playing great, and you can tell that he has nothing but love for Washington. If Bradley Beal leaves, do the Washington Wizards rebuild? I personally would, because a team led by Russell Westbrook will always be okay, but they're never true contenders. Russell Westbrook's trade value isn't as high as it used to be, but the Wizards could still get some young players and draft picks for a guy as talented as him. They already have good young players like Deni Avdija, Rui Hachimura, and Thomas Bryant. That isn't too much, but you can get a lot more young talent if you trade Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. If this doesn't work out, it's gonna hurt Russell Westbrook's legacy a lot. He has been paired with players like James Harden, Kevin Durant, Paul George, and now Bradley Beal. If the Washington Wizards experiment fails, this will be another star that Westbrook couldn't work with. I'm not saying that he can't play with a superstar, because on the court they look fine, but when he does, they never end up getting far in the playoffs. I know he did have a quad injury not so long ago, and he was out for a few games, but Russell Westbrook hasn't been playing as good as we expected. In February last year, before the lockdown, Russell Westbrook was looking amazing, averaging a 30-point triple-double. In the playoffs, he was coming off a quad injury, and I'm not saying this is an excuse, but no one really expected him to keep it up. And I didn't think he was going to play like that this whole season, but now that he has a much bigger role and more freedom, that he would look close to that. So far this season, Westbrook has been putting up 18 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 10.5 assists a game on 37% shooting from the field and 31% shooting from 3. First of all, he has been playing as good as many people expected and his expectations, and 2, he's doing this with terrible efficiency. I don't think he'll be playing this poorly throughout the season. I think he'll be putting up a 20 to 23 point triple-double, which are truly great numbers, but for Westbrook's standards, it's not that good, taking into the account that he's going to have a much bigger role and just a lot more room to dominate. One of the most underrated aspects of a team is having a good coach, holding them accountable, and making the team the best team they can be. And this just isn't the case with Scott Brooks. Now in OKC, when he was coaching Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, he kind of just gave them the ball. Now this is fine, but the offense can't be just that basic. And I'm seeing similar things this year. It's give Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal the ball. I get that they're great players, but that can't be the offense in a nutshell. I've been seeing Scott Brooks utilizing players really poorly. Davis Bertans should be getting more action. He should be coming off of more screens for shots. Deni Avdija has a good playmaking ability, and I think he can be a good cutter, but he's treated like a spot-up shooter, and that's not what he is. A similar thing is happening to Rui Hachimura. Now, he's a good mid-range shooter and can drive to the basket, but in the offense by Scott Brooks, he has him spotting up more than he should be. Brooks isn't utilizing players how they should be, and he isn't a defensive-minded coach either, which is a big problem. Defense is the Wizards' main problem, and they don't have a coach that will prioritize that. I didn't think that the Knicks so far would be the best defensive team in the NBA, statistically speaking, but Tom Thibodeau is a defensive-minded coach and has made the Knicks look great. I honestly don't see why Scott Brooks is still there, because he doesn't add much more than the baseline on offense and isn't a great defensive coach either. There are better coaches out on the market, and if these issues aren't addressed, the team is just going to be horrible. I think poor coaching is a big factor as to why the Wizards are playing so poorly, but the biggest issue is their defense. And I'm sure you've heard it so many times, and I tried not to bore you too much with that, but it's talked about so much because it's just so clear what the problem is. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe for future basketball content, and thank you for watching.